Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. We are at the beginning of Thanksgiving week, which in the 24 years I've lived here, is one of the best weeks of the year. It's beautiful out. Families are looking forward to getting together, reunions. Thanksgiving is just a great holiday here in the Sandhills. And there are a lot of emphasis on homes and hearth.
Yep.
Well, real quick story. When I was in college, I would come home during the holidays, and I was kind of full of myself.
Not you, Bill. Not full of yourself.
Full of myself. My mother would watch PBS, and here we are in a holiday season, and she would be watching a show showing unrest, poverty, things around the world that made her sad. And every holiday, she couldn't shake it. And here I was, this selfish, self-absorbed college student. And I said, Mom, come on, you just turn the TV off. You're bringing us all down. This is a time to celebrate. Well, the older I've gotten, the more I have become like her, because as much as we look forward to the holidays and being with people that we love and celebrating whatever it is people will celebrate, it's hard not to look at the other side for people who are less fortunate. And that has stayed with me. So my mother made an impression on me, but I certainly wasn't ready to understand it at that point in time. And that brings me to introducing my guest, Cliff Brown, who is the founder and director of WORKZ in Southern Pines, and it is an organization to help and assist the homeless. I want to thank Caitlin Wood for coming on with Cliff a couple of weeks ago. Caitlin's been on the show, and she helped introduce me to Cliff. And so did a friend of mine from Pittsburgh, Elizabeth Lacey, who would tell me at dinner, have you met Cliff? Have you befriended him on Facebook? You need to really get him on the show. And Elizabeth is a friend, and basically whenever she says to do something, I just do it. I execute. I don't question, because she's full of a good heart, and I think she's going to become a full-time resident here with her husband sometime in the near future. So, Cliff, you were on with Caitlin a couple of weeks ago, and it was really Caitlin's show, but I wanted a chance to meet you. And WORKZ is, there's a buzz around. You have a Facebook page. You have an operation that you started, I believe, in 2019.
Correct.
Can you just take me back to the beginning and the motivation and what you're doing and what you've been doing these last couple of years? Because I think a lot of people who are aware of you are participating, but there's so many who are not. And I'm going to ask you to get a little closer to the mic.
Sure, Bill. Thank you so much for having me on today so we can share WORKZ with your audience as well.
Right.
Caitlin Wood has been just fabulous to work with us over the last couple of years as Miss Moore County Ag, and she's brought a lot of happiness to people. She's helped with our Christmas events, so I appreciate her anytime she's involved with us.
Right.
Now, as far as dealing with homelessness, when I was president of the State Employees Association back in 2004 through 6, in those 2 terms, I traveled the state and I saw a lot of homeless out across the state. And I would pick up the stuff in the hotels, make little goodie bags, they're called blessing bags, and I would give them out. And the passion of helping people has always been there from many years ago. And then in Moore County, I started seeing more and more people in 2016, 17 out on the street. And I think everyone's familiar with Darius. They call him the bag man. It's usually around Food Line. And I was helping Darius for a couple of years. And then in 2018, there was a camp down behind AT&T back over in that land. And those people were starting to be more noticeable in the area, and they were coming in to AT&T to pay their bills. And people started finding out there was a camp there. And I said, well, maybe I can help them out. So I just sent out a notice on Facebook, does anybody want to help me collect coats and give to the homeless?
Right.
And I got, there is no homeless in Moore County. I'm going, yeah, there are. I see them.
Yep.
And so in 2019, we formed a group that met on February the 5th, and there was about 16 people showed up from a Facebook post on Ask a Neighbor or something like that, one of the Moore County sites.
Yeah.
And then the next week, on February the 12th, we had over 55 people show up at that meeting. And we decided then, let's name a group. So in February the 20th, I named it TeamWORKZ, T-E-A-M, Together Everyone Accomplishes More, and WORKZ, W-O-R-K-Z, and the Z is we stay with you till the end. So that's where the name came from. And we began with working with just homeless men because there was nothing for homeless men in the county. Well, that quickly changed by March because we saw that the men come with families, wives, you can't separate. So today, TeamWORKZ helps everybody. We don't care who you are, where you come from, what your background is, and we have people from all walks of life. I've had one of the top salesmen from Saab Motor Company. I've got contractors. I got professors. I've got all kinds of people that are homeless now that thought they would never be homeless. And so that led us to grow to where we are today, is helping people and trying to build our future and build into a facility that we can get them out of homelessness and solve homelessness in the area and in the surrounding counties.
What, you mentioned helping homeless people. What does helping entail specifically?
Well, we started out giving out food and clothing.
Right.
And I was using storage units, and people were donating. And it all began with the Christmas 2019 when we did our first Christmas meal event.
Just before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we did it at Aberdeen Presbyterian Church, and we fed I think 225 meals that day in a couple hours. And we had delivery. There was a lot of people couldn't come, so we delivered to them. We were told, oh, you're not going to get any volunteers on Christmas Day. We had over 200 volunteers that came out to help. And they were delivering and picking people up. It was fantastic. So we didn't intend to continue this, but it has continued. Now we're in our 5th year of planning for our Christmas meal event, and I'm looking for a venue now to host this. And it's hard to find a venue where people are willing to let you use their fellowship halls or their kitchens, So we're looking right now and trying to coordinate that. But then we started with clothing that was coming in during that event. We didn't even plan on clothing, but it just started coming in. So we had all this clothing that came in, and we continued with clothing in a storage unit. I rented 2 storage units at a facility out on number 1, and we just kept giving clothes, and it just kept coming and coming. So now, here we are at our blessing tree on 152 South Stevens Street, which is underneath the fellowship hall at Trinity AME Church.
Right.
So we rent the space from them, and we have a huge store there. We give away free clothing, hygiene. We have household items that come in, food. We offer a lot of things there.
How do you, one thing you don't supply is housing.
Right.
Okay. How do you differentiate yourself from Christmas for More, from not Habitat for Humanity, but the Coalition, which is right down the street from you? How do you raise your voice above all the noise to get the attention that you need?
Well, we're all partners because we see the common goal, and we're all working at it from different angles. So it's like TeamWORKZ is the hub of the wagon wheel, and the spokes are our partners, and together we make this wheel turn. So we offer things that they don't, they offer things that we can't, and they support us, we support them. So we share our resources and help wherever we can. I mean, there's like 20-some partner groups, and we'll reach out to one that is offering something that we can't help with. But you know, I've had people call and say, well, I was told you offer jobs and cars and homes, and we don't.
Just before you came on the air, you got a phone call.
Right.
And you had it on speakerphone, and I listened. I heard the call, and you were very courteous. The young man has gone through a divorce. He's got some kids. He doesn't have a place to live, and he was calling you to make a reservation to live somewhere. And you explained to him that, no, you don't provide housing, but I think you tried to give him a contact number of somebody to call. He sounded like a very intelligent, well-thought-out guy. It didn't strike me as somebody, and there's some misperceptions about people that are homeless, and maybe I'm making the same mistake. He didn't sound destitute.
No.
He was just very well versed.
Well, you know, his story was very typical of the ones I get. He lost his job not because of a lack of doing the job. He said he lost a job because he was going through a bad divorce, and he was having to take so much time off to go to court and fight for custody of his kids that his employer fired him. And he said, I had a very good paying job. He said, now I can't pay my bills. I can't even have a place to live myself. I can't get custody of my kids. I can't see them. He said it's a hard time. Well, as you know, Bill, the real estate market in Moore County is high. And if you're not making 3 times the rent, which even when I was working with the Department of Correction, I couldn't have made the qualifications today that they're requiring.
Right.
You can't afford to live out here.
Right. That's another problem, a challenge, because Moore County is getting beyond expensive, and a lot of young families in particular are being priced out of the market. They have to go to Hope County, they have to go to Lee County, and our circle is getting bigger and bigger. But that makes your job even more difficult.
Yep.
You're not a home guide, but I don't know that people fully understand what TeamWorks provides and doesn't provide. And I guess you're the head, you're the director. So we wanted to have you on to really lay the groundwork so people understand. Because when you ask them for donations, because you rely on private donations, they have to have have their head wrapped around what TeamWorks is.
Right. When we get donations in, and usually it's like this, we will have a family that right now I've got anywhere from 12 to 18 families that are women, single women, either living in their car, and they each have 1 to 6 children. A lot of these are small children, babies to 2 and 3 years old, and they're living in cars. And you can go around and see sometimes at night in the parking lots cars that are fogged up. There's people living in their car.
Right.
And I was getting calls every 2 hours. Where can I park? Because the police just run me off from here. I can't stay here because the neighbor run out and run me off. Right. There's nowhere to park for them. So we have been actively seeking a place for over 3 years that we can put people together at night. So mainly we can provide safety for them, because having women and children out there alone is dangerous. And 2, we can provide clothing and the things they need. Bring food to them. Offer some kind of heat source. I mean, they're having to start their cars every couple hours to warm up. So one of the things we've done is we'll fill up the gas tank for a family and give them gas to get the kids to school, for them to get to work, or just to stay warm, you know, during the winter. We use donations to buy camping gear, and fortunately a lot of people will donate the camping gear. So if you got stuff in your attic or your garage or wherever you're not using, your storage units, bring it to us, and we will get it out to the people that need it.
You gave me a tour of the Blessing Store,
Mm-hmm.
and showed me a couple of things that were very popular versus maybe some of the things that were not. But what do people come in looking for most of all?
Well, they're coming in for winter clothing right now. We took a week to pack up our summer and put that in vacuum bags to seal back and put it away until we need it again. And we've got the winter clothing out right now. And we had our open house Saturday week ago, and we fed over 100 hot dogs and gave away 50-some backpacks full of school supplies, and we did the trick-or-treat bags for the kids, and that was a lot of fun. We gave them a couple of bags of candy. Sure, that made the parents happy to have them hyper that evening.
Yeah.
But we gave away bags and bags of clothes, and as I said before, it was 81 degrees, and here we are giving away winter clothing.
Right.
But people they know that our weather here can turn cold quick.
Right.
And at night, I mean, today it's supposed to be in the high 70s, I think, and tonight it'll be in the 20s.
That's right.
So you got to think about those people that are living in tents out there. When you woke up this morning, you were in a nice, comfortable home. You slept in a nice, comfortable bed. You got a hot shower and fixed you a cup of coffee. They can't. And I think about that every morning that I put my feet on the floor, what I'm going to do to help them to make their life easier and try to get them out of this situation. And that's why we look at the long-range goals of what we can do to end homelessness.
Are some of the things that you have, the winter clothes that come in, as I recall, I saw a lot of things for adults. What about for children?
We got a lot of clothes for children, small babies. We get a lot of that.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you describe your organization at this point as a grassroots entity?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. We're this is just our 5th year.
Right.
And it's like any business. We are a business, even though we're not profit. We
Right.
give away our items, and we pay rent. We pay for expenses. So any of the donations we get, we put toward the homeless. Everything goes out here to help someone in some way. And I'm ordering camping gear, security stuff, things to help people so that they can be safer and have something to survive with while they're outside. And it's about protecting the families out there. And mainly that's what I'm seeing, are families. They're being evicted so quick out here.
Yeah.
They're being thrown out of their houses for a lot of times no reason,
Yeah.
just so the landlord can raise the rent.
Our world is, to say it's quirky is an understatement right
Oh, yeah.
now. We're going to come back in the second set. Cliff Brown is the founder and director of TeamWorks, and he will be our guest for the whole hour. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County. I'm speaking with Cliff Brown, the director of TeamWorks in Southern Pines. It's a grassroots organization that started in 2019 with the sole purpose of trying to assist the homeless population here in Moore County. I mentioned in the first set how we met through Caitlin. How did you hook up with her? I'm just curious.
Yeah, Caitlin came out to our blessing tree and introduced herself and said that she was interested in helping the nonprofits as part of her title requirements and being in the public image. And, we talked about what we do. And she got excited about the work we do. And she said, I want to be a part of this. And so for the last couple of years, she's been a huge part of it. I mean, she's done clothes drives, food drives, toy drives. We just mention stuff, and the next thing I know, she shows up with it. And she's out here hustling, trying to get things together for people, and she's going places.
This kid she's 17 years old.
Yeah, and she's fascinating to be around. She's very intelligent.
Yes, she is. Okay. I wasn't sure how that connection was made, but we had her on the show last year, and I was so impressed with her and her eye contact and her servant's heart, because it's genuine. It's not like, trying to look good.
That's true, and her presence is just a glowing presence.
That's right. You mentioned in this first set about you contracting to get certain types of merchandise in your shop. Socks, for instance. When you contact these people, are they donating the socks? Are you paying for? Do you have to work through a negotiation with the vendors that you're speaking to?
We have 3 major corporations right now that are sponsors, and it started out with me finding them on Facebook and seeing an ad. and then I did research and saw they donate to homeless organizations.
Okay.
And the first one was Earth Breeze laundry detergent, and they look like dryer strips.
Yeah, I know exactly what
Yeah.
they are. Yeah.
And so I contacted the company, and it took a couple of months before they responded and said, you know, we looked at your background, we checked your web page. They were doing research. And then we did a Zoom call with their marketing director, and she said, well, we have two kinds of soap. We have the scented and unscented soap. Which one would you like? I said, just send me a pack of each. And a pack is 30 sheets that does 60 laundry loads. So I'm
That's
expecting 2 packs of soap. They sent me $1,000 worth, which was 25 packs of each.
Wow.
So we've been putting it in Ziploc bags, like sandwich bags, putting 5 sheets along with the copy of the instructions on how to use it. And what's great about this is, Bill, you can take this as a camper and tear a corner off and wash your socks, your T-shirt, and your underwear, whatever you need to wash, and you don't need a wash machine. And even the package is biodegradable. And then the second one that came on was Dr. Squash men's deodorant soap.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while to get them to respond, and after they did their due diligence, and they're limited to how many organizations they sponsor, they sent us a case of 68 bars of soap.
Jeez.
So those were 8 different scented bars. And when I took them to the camps, and all these guys loved it. I mean, and the women loved it because the guys had
Those
good
are
smelling soap.
Big bars of soap.
They are
They're
big
very
bars of soap,
big,
and
yeah.
they last a long time.
Yeah.
So the other one that I just got, and I'm very proud of, was Bombas, Bombas socks.
Yeah.
And I saw them advertising that they donate these socks, and for 2 years, I've been trying to get on their donor list. And they sent me an email the first of this year that said, we're going to put you on the 2024 list. And they only do 3,000 organizations a year. Well, in August or September, they sent me an email and said, we've expanded to 3,500 groups, and we're going to send you a donation now. So we did the paperwork and sent it in, and we got 3,000 pairs, 1,000 of the medium, 1,000 large, and 1,000 extra large socks. And these are the calf socks. And they are fantastic socks. They do really, they're some of the best socks you can wear. So we give out a pair to everybody that comes in, and the campers that are living in the woods, we give them 2 pairs. Socks is the number one thing they usually ask for.
Right.
And these are great socks. They're great for compression on your legs. And
Yep.
so we thought this is it. You know, we get one shipment, because that was my understanding when I first communicated. You get one shipment and we move on.
Right.
They sent me another email that said you can put in your order for 2024. So we put in an order for ankle socks, men's, children's, women's socks, and these are calf and thigh high and ankle socks, 5,000 pair. So if they honor this, then sometime before March we'll get these socks in to distribute, and we share them with our partner groups as well. So they're going out to other groups that, and the same way with laundry detergent, we give that to other partner groups that help laundry.
Okay. You provided me with a list of over 50 items that are needed by homeless people. Protein drinks like Booster and Sure, protein bars, mugs, nail clippers, batteries, makes sense, bottled or hydration drinks, prepaid phone cards, a journal and pen, sewing kits. I'm just picking as I go. First aid kits, adult diapers and baby diapers.
Right. That's a big call for those.
Yeah. Obviously hats, gloves, belts, and scarves. Duct tape. I don't understand duct tape.
Duct tape, I'll tell you, last winter,
Okay.
a lot of our tents that are out there are weathered. These tents are not they're not made to stay up all the time.
Right.
You take them camping for a week and then you put them away.
Right.
These people live in these tents, and we're talking the 8 to 10 to 14-man tents, and this is their home. Well, the winds tear them up, they dry rot, they rip, the zippers break. So I got a case of that duct tape from one of the hardware companies donated last year, so I gave that out, and that was great tape. It's also very expensive, and they were taking their tape and sealing the tears in their tent.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then they put plastic down on the floor and they would seal that so the water doesn't come up and the cold doesn't come up through there.
Do you get all of these things donated?
Yeah, most of it, yeah. We do buy a lot of stuff, but not as much now as we did in the beginning. A lot of companies are starting to donate things that we ask for like that.
Are you working 24/7 in trying to raise money, private donations?
Absolutely.
Because that's the lifeblood of,
Yeah.
I mean, just you've got to have that reserve somehow, some way, right?
You're right.
Have you partnered with churches? Have you partnered with different organizations, different businesses in the area?
Yeah, I talk to churches and civic organizations all the time.
Okay.
Some will donate a couple of $100s, to help out. And it's like the group I met with last Friday. I don't know if I need to mention them, but I was a guest at their luncheon last Friday, and they donated a check for $400. And it was a local large group. And I told them, I said, let me tell you what your $400 just paid for. I have a disabled lady that was evicted last night at midnight. She had to leave. And I put her in a hotel for 4 days. And your check paid for her hotel stay because it's almost $100 a day for a room. And some of the hotels that I used to get for $60 and $70 have been sold to corporations or groups. Now they're charging me $104.50 a night. And they don't particularly want us there. They've made that clear. So we use the money like that come in to pay for, like her hotel stay. And we did get a donor that paid for a couple of other days, and she's checking out today and asked me, is there any way you can pay for another night? Well, this was 8 nights, where usually our maximum is 3 nights in an emergency situation, but we had donors that paid for it. And now we don't know where she's going to go today.
You mentioned that the hotel didn't want the people to stay there. So this question is, this is a raw question. Do you meet with a lot of resistance from people who don't want to affiliate with people that are homeless?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do. I've had people that wanted to get involved, and I may step on somebody's toes, but I'm not known for being weak on these issues. People will come to me and say, yeah, we want to do this. And then they go out and tell people, we're going to help this homeless organization.
Right.
And their friends over in the bubble say, oh, that's going to ruin your business if you associate with homeless. They're dirty people. We don't have homeless in Moore County. And then they disappear on me. And I get this, not in my neighborhood, not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
They're denamis, not in my backyard. So we get a lot of that. And it's not as much now as it was in the beginning because people just refused to believe that there was homelessness. And we finally, in March, the county commissioners had a special hearing with me to address homelessness in Moore County. So that was a huge step. And the county commissioners formed a task force on homelessness. So we're trying to work together on what we can do to facilitate getting people into safe places and shelter.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not driving in and around Highway 1 in Aberdeen or Southern Pines. I see homeless people every day. Some of them are sitting outside the Harris Teeter parking lot with a sign that just says food. Some of them I see walking up and down the highway with a basket on wheels that is chock full of their possessions, that they're basically walking around with their house,
Right.
all their contents.
Yep.
And, I mean, you look and do you stop? Sometimes I've stopped, sometimes I haven't. And then I feel badly. And people, I think they can be dismissive. And that's why I was asking the question, because it's different than raising monies for other charities that maybe would be more socially acceptable, that people would welcome with open arms.
Well, as I said before when we did the last podcast, people will donate to animal rescue, but not to human rescue.
Right.
And it's that's a sad state of affairs. There's a lot of our homeless out here that you don't know they're homeless. you're at a restaurant beside them, you're in the grocery store behind them, or they're behind you, or they're out there, they're walking around Walmart at night to stay warm in the winter. Or, they're out there and you don't know they are. I had a lady that I saw last summer pulling a suitcase down the sidewalk. Well, with the traffic around here, it took me a while to turn around and go back and try to catch her. So then she disappeared into one of the stores, and I waited in the parking lot to see her so we could find out what she needed. And she came out, and I gave her my card and told her who I was, and I said, "We're here to help the homeless." She said, "Oh, I'm not homeless. I'm just waiting on a ride." And I said, "Well, if you do need help." And I knew clearly she was homeless. She had all the signs that I recognized. And the next day she called me and she said, "I do need your help. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I have nowhere to go. I didn't get money from a bus ticket. I don't know what to do. Will you help me?" And I said, "Sure." So we took her and got her what she needed, got her some groceries, and ended up buying her a bus ticket home.
You see a lot of heartache on a day-to-day basis, don't you?
Yeah, it's every day, every day. I mean, the stories that come in are, you can't make it up. They're heartbreaking. And you hear them cry whenever you tell them, "I can't help you with that. I don't have this that you need.
Right.
I do have this, though."
So in Moore County, there's nowhere for them to go.
No.
Are they policed? In other words, are they brought in for disorderly or for trespassing or loitering?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I had one of the police departments ask me to come at the first of the year and talk to their force about the vagrancy. So I went in and talked to them, and they said, "Look, here's the deal. We don't want to arrest somebody just because it's 30 degrees and they go into a vacant building or a barn to stay warm that night.
Right.
They're not destroying anything. We just don't want to arrest them and give them a record. Then they don't show up for court. Now they can't get a job. We've hurt we've hurt them. So what do? So we worked out something with them so that we could help them. And I've gotten several calls from them. I get calls from several of the police departments around here to pick up people or to help people so they don't arrest them.
Good. Cliff Brown is the director of TeamWorks. His website is www.teamworks.org. He's also on Facebook at TeamWorks Organization. We're going to come back in the third set and would like to talk about what the future looks like in 2024, what plans you have, how we're trying to reach out to people to get your case out there to keep raising funds that are needed, obviously.
Great.
This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our third and final set of All Things Moore County with Cliff Brown, the director of TeamWorks in Southern Pines. It's an organization that exists solely to help the homeless people in Moore County. In addition to some of the stories you were telling us, for the last 8 to 10 years, there's an organization called Christmas for More, where we adopt families, and they give you their Christmas wish list. And they're not asking for toys for their kids. They're asking for slippers, pillowcases, towels. And there are a lot of people who are living on the edge right now who are having a tough time making it financially. They have a roof over their head, but I have a feeling there's some leaking going on because this year Christmas for More said they need more volunteers. They have more families and not enough volunteers, donors. And last week we had the Encore Center on from downtown Southern Pines. And every time they do a production, they partner with a different group to raise awareness. They're an organization that started about 5 years ago. They're in their 5th season. And this year, it's Christmas for More. That's a possibility. I guess I'm trying to think as you're speaking about all the ways that you can raise funds because you're like the paper hanger, you have how many arms? How much can you do?
Yeah.
But you need to make all those kind of connections, and I'm glad to try to help introduce you to some people that I know. I don't know if they're aware of TeamWorks, but then I go back to Elizabeth Lacey for bringing it. You get people like that who talk and communicate, and that's how I became aware of you.
Yeah, we get some of the publicity. The pilot did several articles on us years ago, and then they covered our presentation with the Southern Pines Town Council. And after that presentation with the Southern Pines Town Council, we got several calls of people wanted to know more about TeamWorks. They read the article and they're like, "What are you?" And I said, "Well, come over and see. Come see our plans for our Transitional Advancement Center. Come look at what we actually do. It's easier to show you than to tell you. Like when you came in, it gave you a different perspective.
It did.
So you could see physically how much stuff that we have and what we do.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
actually.
And, we're always looking to grow, so we're always looking for a bigger location, somewhere to house our offices and our Blessing Tree store and help out with that. We reach out to a lot of organizations in hopes that we can help them and they help us. So reaching out to more of the fundraising groups that can help us with money, because that is a very key issue. We are a nonprofit, and we've been a nonprofit since 2019.
Yep.
And we are always struggling, like everyone else, trying to find funds. And we are looking for grants. We're looking for people that can help us get grants.
Right.
And just keep pushing for fundraising efforts.
You have some events coming up between now and Christmas, and these events help to increase awareness.
Right.
So you're at that all the time. What are some of the events that you have?
Yeah. Well, we try to do a monthly open house at our Blessing Tree store.
Okay.
And we'll serve food. Sometimes we have a sponsor group that'll come out and they'll feed. Last month, I'm trying to remember what month we're in now. Last month we cooked hot dogs, and we generally do a hot dog cookout every couple months. We fed over 100 hot dogs. We had over 50 backpacks with school supplies. We gave away a lot of stuff out there. And this month, on November the 20th, which is a Monday.
2 days.
The Moore County Public Safety Director emailed me and asked if they could bring a food truck out and be a part of TeamWorks that day.
Nice.
So they chose the day. We generally do Saturdays so we can get more help, but they chose Monday, November the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 152 South Stevens Street in Southern Pines. We're right behind the BP station on Pennsylvania. And they're going to bring out a food truck, and they'll be providing vegetable and chicken noodle soup or rice and grilled cheese sandwiches and water. So come out and eat with us.
How do you get the is this event just for the general public to come?
Anybody, yeah.
Okay.
We ask anybody to come out, and we get, like you were talking about, the housed people. Half of our clients that come out have a home. They just can't pay their bills. They're having trouble buying clothes or getting hygiene. Even getting a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, we have in many ways an economy on slits, not on rock hard foundations, and it concerns me, going forward, because there are a lot of people who are overspending beyond their means to stay relevant and to stay in Moore County, and that's going to leak. I just, I know that it is. I sense it. All right, I got to ask you, all these years you've been doing this, you're the guy that gets on the phone, you're negotiating the merchandise, you're bringing it in. How many times have you come out of your own pocket?
Quite a bit.
To do this?
Quite a bit. I had one guy that was being, he was attacking me, saying, "Oh, these donations you're putting in your pocket." I said, "Let me tell you something."
Right.
I said, I spent probably $10,000 out of my pocket the first couple of years. And I'm retired state government, so I'm living on half of what I couldn't live on before. And I said, I gave myself a raise this year. I probably spent $7,000. He says, "Oh, I see you got something out of it." Yep, here's your sign. No, I spend. I pay for my vehicles. I pay for my gas. I pay for what goes out. A lot of times I'm putting money out of my pocket, the cash money, to give to people like the ones that will work for us or do something. Sometimes I pay them to do things so that they'll have some money to eat or get a hotel. It's various things. I don't buy drugs and alcohol for them like some people. Oh, you buy? No, I don't.
What is it in your background that had you evolve into where you are today?
Well, I would say that comes up from growing up in Robbins, and I tell people we were so poor, we were po, we couldn't afford the OR. So I knew what it was like not to have anything. If we didn't raise it in the garden or raise a hog to kill every year, we didn't have food. If it wasn't for hand-me-down clothes from my 3 older brothers, me going to school with rips in my jeans and patches, people made fun of me. Now people pay high dollars for these clothes. But that's the way I grew up. So I understand being poor. I know what it's like to do without and having a fatback biscuit for dinner. I mean, that was seriously it. If you wanted to dress it up, you put mustard on it. And people laugh at me, so, that's not, that's the way we grew up. And so when I see people out here now, and as the president of the State Employee Association traveling around the state, I saw so many homeless out here, and we get to talking to them, hear their stories, and I would take meals from the restaurants when we go out to dinner and take it out to them. And people say, why are you doing that? I said, because I know what it's like out there. When I went to work for the Department of Correction, it was 6 weeks before we got a paycheck. And we had to charge my gas to go to work. And so by the time I got my check and they took out everything, I made $600 a month. And that went to pay for gas. And many nights I was sitting there with nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and watching other people. So when I'm out here and I see these people now, I understand. And I teach the homeless how to survive as homeless out in the woods. Some of them don't know how to build a fire. They don't know how to use a P38 or a P51 can opener. You got to teach them how to do it. Our society has gotten so soft, they can't survive. So I go out and teach them. I'm out there in the woods with them, helping them.
I admire you. I think that the more people get to know you and listen to you speak, I think your credibility, I don't think people would ever question your credibility or your honesty, but there is the cynics who, whenever there's anything that's charitable, they want to know where the money's going. That exists in many different charitable contributions to different organizations. But I do. I admire you.
I just tell people to come ride with me.
Yeah, exactly. What do you want people to do to reach out to you? Go to your website, call you?
Yeah, you can call us, but it's easier if you email me at our email address. It's faster, and then calling the TeamWorks number. It's
teamworks.director@gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay.
TeamWorks with a Z.
That's right. These next couple of weeks through the holiday season it all becomes a little more poignant, doesn't it? It hits home at the holidays. Would love to get you back on. If you ever wanted to come on with a person that you've worked with or assisted or aided, would love to do that. And if you want to have a conversation with them for people to see, you can use the show as a vehicle to do so.
Great, thank you. I've got several in mind that would. I think the audience would love to hear from.
Why don't we plan to do that in 2024? Yeah. You just get back in touch with me, and we will.
Yeah, and we've got our Christmas meal event coming up. I forgot to mention that. That's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
So we're looking for a venue. At this time we don't have one signed, but we're looking for a venue to hold, and this will be our 5th Christmas. And last year we fed over 700 meals and gave out over 800 gifts and toys between the 2 churches that we used last year.
And they're not available this year.
One of them wants to join us. I'm not sure about the other one, but we're looking for something more locally in this area.
Okay.
because a lot of the people are here, and we want to reach the other ends of the county. So it wouldn't be out of question to say that we're going to use both churches, because one's in Carthage and one's at the Hope County line. And we are seeing a lot more Hope County people. So that's why we're starting a chapter. We've been asked to have a chapter in Hope County to help those people.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Bill.
It's a pleasure. It is Thanksgiving week, and we do want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving. And just reflect on how fortunate we are for where we are, and that not everyone is in the same position or situation that we're in. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.